So welcome back to the social class for class 9 political science. After your free midterm exam, we'll start the syllabus once again, and today we'll go on the political science. That will be the chapter 3. In the previous class, we already completed what is democracy and why democracies are needed, and the meaning and definitions of the democracy we already studied here. So in this chapter, especially on chapter 3, the constitutional design, we refers to the two countries, and that is Africa and India. And here why we need constituency and what are the similarities between these two countries. As we already seen that if you study the history very properly, like the most of the African countries, like in Asia, mostly come under the European country during the colonial period, imperialisms. So how they are evolving and how they are collectively peoples come forward for their independence, fight for their independence. And how we got independence. And after get independent, what will be our new rules and regulations? How the people should be brought together as oneness. And there we need a constituency. The constituency means the written rules and law, which people should abide, which people should be follow on that. And people should become under our constituency. People should become under our rules and regulations where they can make it oneness. Otherwise it will be like high class peoples are high class, low class peoples will be low class. The differentiations will become there. The social discriminations, political discrimination, economically discriminations will be there. So constituencies are needed here, especially constituency, the constitutions are needed there, so that people should be come togetherness. Especially the written law should be there where people should be follow on that. So as for that, today we will discuss the constitution design. On this constitution design, we found the democratic constitutions in South Africa and like a struggle against the apartheid toward a new constitution and why we need the new constitutions. As I already explained that the constitution means the written rules of law which people should be abide on that. So as for that, when we go back to the history on the South Africa, there we found the many freedom fighters are there, but basically as per your textbook it is found that the Nelson Mandela, who was in jail for 28 years, was arrested in 1964 and kept it in jail for 28 years in Robben Island, who was fought for the apartheid. Now the meaning of the apartheid. The apartheid means the distinguish among the people by their color of their skin. Because we already know that the people who are living in South Africa, not only South Africa, in African country, mostly they are Negroes. So due to that cause, especially when the colonials are started, the British or East India Company from the Britain, French, Portuguese or Dutch or many more countries which they come and occupy to the African country, especially for the exploitations of the natural resources, they are started to dominate them and they are making a colonize. And due to that cause, due to their color of their skin, they are neglected. The color of their skins are black, that's why they are make a ignore and they make them inferior. So when exactly come under the apartheid means the discriminations against their skin color. So that should not be there. And for that exactly Nelson Mandela fight for their peoples for the Africa. And here also we found like in Indian context, especially when India start for the freedom struggle, especially civil disobedience movement, non-cooperation movement and Quit India movement. During those time also in Africa they have a African National Congress, ANC, which they are taking umbrella of Indian National Congress. And as we already know that you also know the history of India, like regarding on the Mahatma Gandhi also, he went to the South Africa and they found a mostly severely peoples are discriminated as per the caste and color. So that's make a problem. So today we'll discuss on the democratic constitutions in South Africa, especially in South Africa also the peoples are no, they are Negroes, but they are come under the colonial government. Due to that cause, they have found a major problem, especially on the political issue, regarding on the social issue or economically issue. But if you study the history, we found that the peoples of the Africans are very rich in natural resources. They have the abundance of their land and they have their domesticated animals, so they have no shortage of anything there. But slowly and gradually, the European countries, the European peoples are making a new law and rules and regulations, and they're controlling them as like in India, and they're dominating them. Ultimately, they have brought them as a slave. So the democratic constitutions in South Africa, now they struggle against the apartheid. So as I already said that Nelson Mandela was jailed for 28 years, and due to the struggle for their own people, because he was also black, he was also from the Negroes, and for the humanity, for the differentiations of color, he fought for the African people. And till now you may see that if you're watching sport like black lives are matter, still the slogans are there issued from the United Nations, so the human rights commissions. So that's are very important here. We found that now in the world the Negroes are more there. They are very capable of the athletic. So we should be give respect, because they are also human being. We are the other peoples also human being. We should not be discriminate caste, color, and creed as the very context of the India which we are followed there. So the struggle for against the apartheid, Nelson Mandela started the struggle and fight for their right of the peoples of Africa, that he believed that the people should not be discriminated as per their color of their skin, but because in Africa also more European peoples are there, who started colonials, who started already settlement there, who they have the family members. So due to the ignorance and differentiations of the people, he started to be take movement for the peoples of the black people, and there we found the discriminations like in a classroom or either far, and anyway the black peoples are ignored. They are like treating us like the dog. So that's make a major problem for the peoples of the Africa, and Nelson Mandela one of them, which are emerging as a leaders and fight for their people. And later you will study like the Martin Luther King was also fought for the American Revolution, so fight for the Negroes, black peoples. The next that is on the toward the new constitutions. So it's like in India, in Africa, there are many countries. So out of that, one after another, they go the independence. But now we are specifically emphasize on the South Africa. So before they go to independence, it's like in India, they also need new rules and regulations, which is known as constitution. So the new rules and regulations where they have brought them all the peoples, either black or either white, to come together. So that's they need to make one new rules and regulations where every peoples can we bring in that book. As per that book, rules and regulations will be there. As per that book, everything will be there. So that's they need toward the new constitutions are started in South Africa. And the next, why do we need a constitutions? Yes, we need a constitution because degree of the people between the understanding among and circulating in the society are very important. Because if you want to live in the society, you have to talk like the society. It means not that you are very unique and you have to different from others. If you are different from others, that you will say as a merit. That means you are not from that society. So wherever you want to live there, you have to mingle up there. You have to live as like that. Like freedom to speech, freedom to live, which found in articles of India. So if like that, if you found that, and the teachers are taking class, if you stand up and dancing and singing and you say that this is freedom to speech, freedom to live, then that is wrong. That is not given in the law. So as per the law only you have to do it. So this is the reason there. We need a constitution, we need constitutions so that people should be brought together, and through that rules and regulations we have to be go. And when the rules and regulations are there, the social harmonies are maintained properly, diversities are founded. So for today, that much only there. So as per the context of the Africa, only the few topics are there. Those the things I already completed here. And after you study, some of the years are there that you studied. And after that also, if you have found any difficulties, you can ask me. So next sessions will go on the context of the India, how the Indians are emerging and get freedom from the Britishers, and how they started to make a new law, rules and regulations, who are there, and what are our preamble, and how many articles are there. So that's we all study the next class when we come to the context of India. So as for now, the South Africa context, only the few topics are there, only 2 or 3 topics are there. This I already completed here. After you study, if you have doubt, you can ask me. So for today, that much only, dear. Thank you.